Ever listen to someone bare their soul and find yourself laughing along the way? Kind of gets you right there, you know?
Yeah, vulnerability with a side of humor.
Yeah.
Powerful combo.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, Adam Sandler, on the Joe Rogan Experience. Talk about a goldmine of comedic wisdom.
I'm with you there. What struck me was how this goes way beyond just Sandler. It's like a masterclass on stand-up comedy itself.
Totally. The grit, the evolution, even the mental hurdles. He holds nothing back. And think about it, this is a Hollywood heavyweight returning to stand-up after a 20-year hiatus.
Seriously, that's huge. Okay, so Hollywood success, check. But what's always fascinated me is this weird paradox.
Yeah.
Critics, they're not always on board, right?
You're hitting on something there. Rogan even brought it up, and Sandler, classic Sandler, just brushes it off. But why do you think that is?
I think it boils down to this. Sandler owns his lane, this silly groove, as he calls it. It's his trademark.
Silly groove. I love how he puts that. You can practically hear him saying it.
Right. Remember that part where he's like, we worked our asses off, but you caught like a silly groove that I don't think anybody else has. He owns it unapologetically.
And that's what's resonated with audiences for decades. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, The Water Boy. The guy's built an empire on goofy humor.
Absolutely. It's like he taps into this universal need for pure, unadulterated fun.
In a world that's constantly trying to make us serious, it's refreshing, you know?
100%. And here's the thing. This silly groove, it wasn't just handed to him. The guy paid his dues, honed his craft in the trenches of the Boston comedy scene.
Oh, man, those stories about Nick's comedy. Stop. You can practically smell the stale beer and hear the hecklers.
Coke for compensation. It's mind-blowing.
Seriously, like, how is that even a thing? Yeah, I'll take my paycheck and illicit substances. It's a different world. But those gritty clubs, those unforgiving audiences, that's where he found his comedic voice.
He even talks about bombing, saying, every time I bombed, I feel like it taught me something. Those failures, they shaped him.
It shows real resilience, wouldn't you say? That ability to take those hits and come back swinging. But it wasn't just about sheer willpower, was it? He had people in his corner, mentors, who saw his potential even when he doubted himself. You can almost hear the respect in his voice when he talks about Kevin Meaney. Like, those early interactions, they really stuck with him.
Makes you think about finding your people, you know? Those who get your humor, get the struggle. And it's something you see throughout Sandler's career, that camaraderie, that shared journey. Remember how he chose touring with Rock and Spade over those big paychecks? Said it was about the fun over money?
Now that's dedication. But even with a solid crew and undeniable talent, there's this universal hurdle, stage fright. And Sandler, he doesn't sugarcoat it, calls it the sickest feeling.
We've all been there, right? That heart-in-your-throat anxiety, it can cripple you.
He talks about drawing blanks, wanting to disappear after a bad set. Ouch. Makes you cringe just thinking about it. But then he drops this unexpected weapon for fighting stage fright. And it's not some fancy meditation app.
No, it's way more old school. His prep for 100% fresh, intense is an understatement. Writing, listening to recordings, even working out to his material.
Talk about dedication. It's like he's saying, the more I own this, the less room there is for fear. Which I guess ties into that whole hypnosis thing he mentions.
Totally. That connection between performer and audience, that electric feeling when everyone's in sync, that's the magic zone. And he actively works towards it even outside the big specials.
You're talking about those workout sets at the Comedy Store. Basically testing the waters, risking a bomb, all to keep those creative gears turning.
Exactly. That's growth, refusing to get stale. It reminds you, even at his level, stand-up's a living thing. Needs to be fed, challenged, sometimes even messed with a little.
It's like he needed those 20 years away, not from boredom, but to come back with a fresh perspective, like rediscovering his silly groove by venturing outside of it. And you can really see how those years off stage influenced his style. It's like he moved away from those crazy characters, those big voices.
It's subtle, but you can pinpoint the shift. From over-the-top persona to, well, just Adam Sandler, more grounded. You know.
More real, for sure. And that realness, it shines through even when he talks about bombing, like that corporate gig he did. Got paid a fortune, didn't quite land.
It's refreshing, right? Even comedic legends have off nights. Makes you realize it's about connecting with the right audience.
He even says those corporate gigs can be brutal. People are there because they have to be, not because they want to laugh.
Totally different energy than those early comedy clubs. Those hungry crowds, eager to be part of the joke.
You can almost hear the difference in his voice when he talks about those clubs. The energy, the connection. Palpable. And you know what's cool? He chose his opening acts based on that vibe. Not just talent, but who'd bring that good energy to the tour.
He's mentioned that before, right? Fun over money. Those tours with guys like Joey Diaz sounded more like a traveling circus than work.
Exactly. Choosing camaraderie over cutthroat ambition. And it obviously worked for him. You can hear the respect when he talks about watching Chris Rock work out new material. Just keeps going, even when jokes bomb. That's dedication.
It's about trusting your gut, your vision, not letting the fear hold you back, mastering your craft, even when it means falling flat on your face sometimes.
It's inspiring, really. It makes you want to find your own silly groove, you know? Surround yourself with your people and just go for it.
Absolutely. Sandler's journey is a powerful reminder that the path to, well, anything worthwhile is rarely a straight line.
It's about embracing the detours, the failures even. It's about finding the humor in the struggle and coming out the other side, maybe a little bruised, but definitely not broken.
And hopefully, with a few good stories to tell along the way, like imagine bombing at a corporate gig, getting paid a ridiculous amount, and living to laugh about it with Joe Rogan years later.
Now that's a happy ending, even if it wasn't a perfect set. So to wrap things up, I think what we can all take away from Sandler's story is this. Find your passion, work your tail off, and don't be afraid to embrace the absurdity of it all. Who knows, you might just stumble upon your own silly groove in the process.